Welcome to the Arsenal Show. We are live, and if you watched that absolute gift to Southampton, gift to Man City, you saw Arsenal. It feels like a loss still. Draw 3-3 to Southampton. It was littered with errors. Arsenal were not good. Even at the end, when we threw the kitchen sink at everything, we weren't good. Even at the end, it weren't good enough. Like, not even a case of weren't good enough because we didn't score. It just weren't good enough. There was Gabriel Jesus had an opportunity to get the ball in his control. Can't do it. That happens twice. Like from the moment that Southampton managed to get two players booked, what did Arsenal do? Did they put the pressure on Southampton then? No, they didn't. They didn't put the pressure on Southampton. They let them off. They had a high line so high that all it took would be one poor pass, which we did. The game was littered with poor passes from Arsenal. Shocking. Littered. Nice one, Charlie. Look, Man United Arsenal rivalry. Look, I can't hate. Do you know what I mean? It is. You can't say Man U. Man U is what Leeds fans call your club, and you should know that. Man U. It's Man United, Manchester United, or Man UTD. Not Man U, and you should know that, Charlie. All right. So Arsenal were poor from the start. Aaron Ramsdale. I love Aaron Ramsdale, but today he was poor. Not just poor, he set the tone for the match. Now, when you want your players to keep calm, keep composed, you've had a team talk before. Mikel Arteta pulls out the light bulb. Boys, feel this. You see this? Generate the light. The light from here will be the light that you see when we win the league. Yeah? The team talk and everything. The team talk's banging. Everyone's buzzing. 8 seconds in, Aaron Ramsdale gives the ball to a Southampton player and he tucks it away. But no, that wasn't good enough. That was not good enough. Arsenal had to continue with their crap in that first half. They couldn't string two passes together. Thomas Partey was bitty. Zinchenko was poor. Fabio Vieira. I'm not talking like some of these other people. I'm not talking like these other people where I'm saying that Fabio Vieira is a flop. Like, people, just relax yourself. Come on. You lot that were calling Fabio Vieira a flop were calling Odegaard bang average. Don't deny that. We're saying that Mikel Arteta isn't a good enough manager to get Arsenal into a top 4 position. You lot, the loudest, the most critical, the people with the least patience. And I want to put it down to youth, but that would be unfair because there's some solid knowledge with our players that have never seen Arsenal win the league. Some solid knowledge. I respect a lot of them. But there's some cranky people out there that the moment a player has a bad game, he's a flop. But he was crap today. There's no getting about it. He was poor. Not one good thing I could say about Fabio Vieira today. But Thomas Partey weren't much better overall. If we deep it, if we break it down, Thomas Partey weren't much better for a seasoned professional that he is. Why is he losing all composure as soon as the Arsenal crowd shoot from 35 yards with a minute to go, and he decides he wants to pull off a hero shot? Get in the bin. Come on, man. This is a team game. This ain't about you being the hero. And that was the story of our game today. Poor from start to finish. Gabriel Martinelli, Saka, look, I can say they did okay. I can say they did okay, but it wasn't for the full 90. But was that their fault? I can't say it was because we didn't give them much after that. Ben White was okay. Okay. But it's just not good enough. It's not good enough. And when we talk about winning the league, when we're getting pelters as Arsenal fans, you expect you to back it against teams like Southampton and West Ham, but they didn't. They didn't. They did not back it. Did they let the pressure off themselves against the bottom of the league team? No, they didn't. Did they let themselves off the pressure against a team fighting relegation in West Ham? No, they didn't. Thomas Partey tries to do a flick against Declan Rice. What is he doing? Today, the middle was horrible. The back line wasn't great. Zinchenko was poor. And Gabriel Jesus was frustrating. Could we put it down to the fact that he's missing games? I can't really. He needs to get in the box more. I think this is the most Gary Neville speak, and it wasn't surprising the fact that Arsenal were losing at the point where Gary Neville decides to speak sense. Gabriel Jesus needs to get in the box. Arsenal aren't cohesion with Arsenal. They can't string 3 or 4 passes together. Their final ball's poor. There's no movement. They're just passing the ball 1-to-1. They snapped out of that quickly, but at the end it was for 5 minutes left. Like, there's no way we're winning the league when we're dropping points to Southampton and West Ham. No way, because we've now got to go to Man City and win. That's the only option. There's no other option. The games we've dropped points in, we have to make that up against Man City. That's the only way you can do it. Now, I've been here before. We've been against Man United. We done it against Man United before. Sammy and Nashville, but didn't finish off the league enough. We didn't finish off the league. We didn't pull it together enough. Michael Thomas against Liverpool. It happens. But with this current Arsenal team playing the way they are in the last 2 games, I can't see it. It's not over till the fat lady sings, and she's currently eating pie right now, so she's occupied. But Arsenal, they need to fix up, and they need to go and beat Man City. Because if they don't beat Man City, for me, that's it. That's where you're going to get the points. I do see Man City dropping points, and it wasn't necessary. I didn't think that was necessarily against Arsenal. They can come up against teams where they could drop points, but Arsenal need to be the team that takes the points off of it now. That's it. There's no other way. Welcome, Steve, into the room. How you doing, Steve?
Yeah, you do, mate. Not bad.
All right, quickly before we go to the player ratings, someone says free stuff like that doesn't happen for a reason. How did we get a point out of that game? It's not over until it's over. Simon, this is the most optimistic I've ever seen you. I love it. I just don't see it. Because we've got to go and beat Man City. That is the only option for me. We have to beat Man City at the Etihad. All right. Let's get on to the player ratings. I've already spoken about him today. 8 seconds in, he decides to pass the ball to a Southampton player, which set the tone for the game. After that, Arsenal, well, I don't know how he would have played because it happened so quickly. I can't even say how he would have played. But that did set the tone for the game because we did not get into it after that. Well, there was not much before that. We gifted them. We forced it as well. That's what frustrates me the most about that goal that we conceded the first one. He didn't need to pass that to Zinchenko there. It was forced. It was a forced ball between 2 Southampton players, and there was not enough on it. It was poor. Steve, what are you giving Ramsdale?
Well, you've said it all there, mate, really, haven't you? He set the tone for how the game sort of panned out. I mean, as soon as that first goal in, just everybody's head seems to it seems to have dropped. Yeah, you got to give him a free. You got to give him a free. He nearly he made a decent save, but he made a cock up right before then. We've said how good Ramsdale is when he's done well this season, but today he was the start of of what was to come. So yeah, give him a free.
Yeah, it was it was not good, and like you said, he made a double save, but the first save, you could tell he was still shaky from that first goal. You could tell he was still shaky. Like the pressure really got to Aaron Ramsdale today. And I'm not saying it's worrying, but Aaron Ramsdale as a dressing room figure, he's a big figure. He's a big figure. Now he will go into the dressing room and he'll apologise for his performance. He needs to get over it. He needs to move on because he's one of the players that he can't let this get onto him. But like, it's tough. I don't want to be too hard on him, but like I do worry about the fact that he got so shaky after at this point in the season. The pressure's really on, and he got really shaky in a game against Southampton. Not good. Gabriel.
Yeah, that wasn't his best game tonight either, was it? I think. I mean, they did. Was put him at fault for the goal where he didn't pick up the play and he ran through. But I don't know. I don't think he was too much to blame there. It was a good through ball, and sometimes you got to realise it was just a good ball through to the forward, and he finished it well. So, and he made his run at the right time. So, I don't really blame Gabriel as much as probably what they did at the time, like what Gary Neville did, and what they did at half time on Jeremy Carragher. But again, wasn't a good performance, mate. 5.
5 for Gabriel. What is everyone giving Gabriel? 5 for Gabriel. Simon, what are you giving Gabriel there? Now, sorry, look, it's all. I've got nothing about being optimistic. I love it. All right, I missed the optimism. All I'm saying is that I didn't expect that off you, but yeah, look, it's good. It's good. Rob Holding.
Yeah. I mean, again, he did okay. To be fair, he could have done better for the third goal. He seemed to just not jump when the other guy did jump. He come from behind him. He didn't seem to know he was there. Other than that, he didn't really have a bad game. To be honest with you, I don't really remember him making too many errors. But again, can't give him any more than a 5. Just to say, miss Saliba. I'm not going to sort of go on about players that missed and if players would have been there because, I don't agree with that. If we've gone through this whole season being at the top of the league, and I'm not going to start saying because this player's not playing and that player not playing and blah blah blah. The players on the pitch should have done better. There was enough players on the pitch to win the game, and they didn't.
Yeah.
So,
and you could tell that by the fact that we pulled it back to 3-0. That team that we had out there was more than good enough to get a result. Yeah.
So where was they? Where was they the whole match?
And that's the problem.
There's a mentality there. There was a mentality problem for the whole game. Yeah.
There is. There was an arrogance for the West Ham game. When you're 2-0 up against West Ham, it's time to just batter them. 2-0 up 10 minutes in against West Ham. That's where you go. Let's batter this team. Not we've got this. It's easy. There's a certain level of arrogance you need to have. But it's a fine line. And we don't seem to understand the balance of it right now. No. We don't seem to understand the balance of it. Today, we needed a bit of that arrogance. But as soon as we conceded that goal, we were scared. We went tight. We didn't know what to do with ourselves. I was shocked.
Yeah.
And then once it feels like it's over, then Arsenal want to start trying to play. Start linking balls together with 8 minutes injury time left. Like, got me sliding all over the floor. Ben White.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't. I mean, nobody deserved that praise tonight, but I must admit, Ben White, I thought was okay. I thought out of the back four, he probably was the best out of them all. But I'll give Ben a 6.
Yeah, Ben White was trying to make things happen all the time. He was always getting down the wing. Him and Saka, as per usual this season, and we saw it today, were linking up well. It just didn't seem like there was enough. There wasn't enough of Thomas Partey. There was no Fabio Vieira. Like to have the cohesion to link it together. Like you can't just have your fullback and your winger. That's bottom half of the table stuff. You need your midfielders to link up them triangles, and that's what we've been doing all season. It's Ben White to Saka to Odegaard to Partey to Odegaard to Saka. That's what it's been all season. Then on the other side, it's Xhaka to Partey to Martinelli to Zinchenko. Then there. That's what we've been doing. The triangles with the 3 or 4 players. We had no central midfield today. There was no triangles. Martin Odegaard. I'll give him that. Martin Odegaard. But we had no central midfield today. Ben White, 6.
6, yeah.
Zinchenko today.
We've praised. I've praised Zinchenko through the whole season, and he's been, arguably one of our best players. But let's talk about today. Where was he? Where was he today? Worst game that I've seen Zinchenko play in an Arsenal shirt. I think he didn't do. He looked slow on the ball. He looked like at the time Walcott was getting the better of him at certain times. There was times when all he seemed to be doing was moaning and groaning. Where was the leadership? He was one of the players on the pitch that you looks for leadership. I mean, he was just sort of. He seemed to admit defeat after they scored the first goal. That's how it looked like. He looked like when they scored, it was like, oh no, what's happening? We're not going to come back and win this. He seemed to know, and he wasn't there for me to sort of build up the players. I mean, tonight, I think we've got to start looking at, so we always said, the younger players with the younger heads, are they going to feel the pressure? Well, actually, it wasn't, because it's
not the younger players.
The younger players look like I've said a lot of times on shows that we've done. These players, these young ones, ain't got any fear.
Yeah.
They just go out there. The fact that they've been there before and done it. Well, for me, the players that have been before there and done it were the players that let us down tonight. So there goes to show you that all this been there, done it, got the T-shirt means absolutely nothing. You've got to do it on the pitch. Zinchenko didn't do it tonight. He gets a 3.
Yeah, no, Zinchenko was poor for me. At times when I thought that he was going to start getting into the game, he was lofting balls into the air. He put a couple of nice passes. He kept. The thing is for me with Zinchenko is he's a player that is a tidy player. Excellent technique. Yes, we've got all the mentality side of things, which we all love. But as a player, technically wise, he's outstanding. And his passing is crisp. He keeps things ticking over. He adds an extra man in midfield. Well, it didn't feel like he was even there in midfield today. And his pass was awful.
Yeah,
he was the one of the players that kept on passing the ball to the other team, rushing it, no composure, just poor. Thomas Partey.
Oh, damn, my good grief! What was? I mean, I don't know if I'm analysing Thomas Partey tonight, because straight after the game. To me, he was awful tonight.
Yeah.
Absolutely dog shite awful. I mean, his passing was off. He was giving the ball away. He looked clunky, he looked slow. He looked off the pace. he was trying. Oh, that shot he did at the
That
end. Where he
shot
did,
with a minute
oh
left.
my Jesus!
All I heard was Arsenal fans say shoot, and he actually shot. He's not done that since 2 years.
If I could have strangled him when he did that. If I was in the crowd, I would have jumped on the pitch and go, I would have strangled him as big as he is. I thought he was terrible tonight. Absolutely awful. And again, I don't want to harp on about plans that weren't there, but oh my God, did we miss Granit Xhaka tonight? Yeah. My good grief, did we miss him tonight? I don't want to ever hear again about that player. It stood out a country mile what he gives Arsenal that we didn't have tonight. But then again, look, the players that are on the bench should still have had to come in and should have done enough to beat this bottom of the tide to Southampton. So it's not an excuse that he weren't there. But Partey was awful, mate. He struggles for a 3 tonight for me, but I'll give him a 3. But I mean, he was awful for me, mate. Clonky, slow, sloppy, the lot.
Yeah, no, it was all of the above. He was not good tonight at all. And I said it. Thomas Partey's game was summed up by that shot at the end with a minute to go. It was just it made no sense. It made no sense when you've got the pressure on Southampton. They are the pressure that Southampton would have been feeling at that time when they've gone 2-0 up, 3-1 up with like 10 minutes to go, and it's now 3-3. The pressure that is on them right now, the last thing they would have wanted was us to keep on trying to put the ball through, trying to keep it, trying to stretch them, putting it out wide, get across in the box, get maybe a corner. The pressure would have been palpable. You would have been able to feel it. People would have been tripping over their feet, but no. Thomas Partey comes to the rescue and puts it in Rowe's head.
What was it with him tonight? What was it with? He was our worst player. I really think he was probably our worst on-field player tonight. I don't know.
I think this next one's going to be worse, mate. If I'm honest. No, Thomas Partey weren't good. I don't think he was helped by the fact that he didn't have anyone in central midfield with him. There was no link up. I didn't understand the substitute for Lozano Trossard. I thought that Jorginho would have come on because I thought that we needed someone in the middle who could keep some cohesion, get some passing, keep it ticking over.
Yeah.
And instead, we brought on Trossard, and he went as a forward player, and Thomas Partey was again in the midfield on his own, and we didn't need that because I don't know. Like he had Thomas Partey was good for about 5 minutes tonight, and that's not good enough for his level performance. Fabio Vieira was. For me, was the worst player on the pitch tonight.
Yeah, he was. He was the worst player on the pitch. Getting a little bit worried about him, I must admit. Because let's have it right. He ain't really. It just fits and starts really. So far through his Arsenal career, definitely need to be. He's definitely not ready for the first team. No. I would have rather have seen Emil Smith Rowe in there. You know, play him in that position. But why I
don't know why Jorginho weren't in there.
No, I mean that was the ideal choice, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know, put Jorginho in there. Bring Kieran Tierney as a left back. Put Zinchenko in that position. You know that Vieira he gave nothing. He didn't do a thing, did he? Everything was.
No. And then there was the 2 shots that he had where. It dropped to him. He couldn't get it under control. He shot it, the play it, come back, and then he tried to tuck it in the top corner when it was all under his feet. And I was just like, again, this
there was no effort your game, was he? You've looked at Arsenal midfield through this season when you've seen Xhaka play in there. There's energy, isn't there? There's strength. There's power. There's playing the right balls at the right time. He's getting into the box. He couldn't do. He's got none of that. He didn't do none of that tonight. The most effort I didn't see him running. Didn't see any emphasis on winning the ball like you see that Xhaka gives or Jorginho gives. The most effort I see that from Vieira tonight was when he decided to try and G up the crowd. And I thought you better slow down, mate. You might have a heart attack in a minute. It was about the most he did in the whole game. But Yeah, poor. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I can't even give him a 2, but let's give him a 3. Give him a 3 as well. Probably low 3.
Yeah, no, Fabio Vieira was not good tonight. For me, his attributes to his pass and his technique, and when again another player that couldn't string more than 2 passes together or wasn't linking up with the 1-2s, movement was poor, wasn't getting into the areas. Like, he was in a no man's land position. He wasn't sitting next to Patrick Thomas Partey, and he wasn't forward sitting near Odegaard or foot. He was sitting in a hole of nowhere, doing nothing. And then when he did get on the ball, he was poor. It was poor. Martin Odegaard.
Yeah, I mean, he come alive in the second half a bit, especially towards the end of the second half. Up to the goal, I really did. I thought he was probably on par. That he was a bit, just not on the. Didn't see him. Didn't really see him do anything. But as the game got on, he scored. He scored that good goal, which I didn't even celebrate at the time. When he scored it, but it was a good finish from him. Yeah, he was. I'll give him a 6, but again, I don't. I think we still needed to see a lot more from him. We can't. We keep seeing we can't have 20 minutes towards in the middle of the second half where he comes alive and we start praising. He needs to do it the whole game, and he never.
Yeah, he didn't. It was a frustrating day for Martin Odegaard. Gabriel Martinelli.
Yeah, he's probably Arsenal's best player. Especially in the first half, he was definitely caused a lot of problems. He got his goal. Yeah, he was a constant danger. He's probably one of the players very few players tonight that you could give a little bit of praise to. But even then, in the second half, he dropped off. I mean, but I'll give because of his first half performance, because I thought he was very good. I'll probably give him a 7. Martinelli.
Why was it that Arsenal managed to get 2 yellow cards for both their fullbacks, and as soon as that happened, we stopped going down the wings. We stopped putting pressure on them. I don't. Did you see? Is it Walker Peters? He was crapping his pants.
Yeah,
he didn't want any of it. He didn't want any of it.
Yeah.
Anytime he saw Martinelli, at first he backed off, and then he realised he had to get closer to him, and then he was kind of he wanted to sort. He didn't know where to be. That is prime position with what I think they had over an hour left for you to just keep on putting it down them wings, make Martinelli run it in, win a free kick. After a couple of free kicks, he gets his last warning and he's on a red card. You've got to be smart there. You've got to be smart. They're both players on yellow cards with an hour to go, and we didn't make it count. We didn't make it count.
No, terrible tonight, mate. Terrible.
No, so what give Martinelli?
Give him a 7 tonight. I thought he did well. To be honest with you, I thought he did well.
Bukayo Saka.
Yeah, similar when it had the 2 wingers were our best players tonight, I think, on the pitch. Again, he got his goal. He's in plenty of endeavour on that right hand side. Sometimes his final ball could have been a little bit better tonight, but he kept going, and he like Martinelli, he got his goal. So also I'll give him a 7 as well.
Yeah, I think Martinelli was done by the fact that Zinchenko was so poor, he took off Zinchenko and brought on Trossard, so he went free at the back. So at that point there, Martinelli was essentially isolated and was getting nothing, no service. So I think he needed legs. He brought on Reece, and to be fair, it worked. To be fair, bringing on Reece actually works in the end. But yeah, Saka got more service from Ben White because he had more support, and that showed because he was able to do that to the end. Kept on pushing for a goal. Kept on trying to put it on the fullbacks, but again, I think we could have been smarter there. Get Ben White on the overlap, make him think, get him on his heels, win a free kick. We didn't do it enough. Didn't play in between the channels. No final ball to him. Like, it just wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. But Saka did try. Gabriel Jesus.
Yeah, he looked very frustrated to me tonight. Things just weren't coming off. He should have scored a couple. He should have probably scored with the header. And there was a couple of times the ball came to him, dropped to him, and I think he probably could have. Maybe he's still not. He didn't look like he had his sharpness that we had. That I've seen him in recent weeks. Recent weeks before the West Ham game, anyway. Yeah. He was. I don't know why he keeps dropping so deep all the time. I wish.
Yeah, I know, it's frustrating. He needs to get in the box more. He got in the box. He got in the box for that first goal. Drew 3 players away. We scored.
Especially when you would think that if any night of tonight where you think that at least like Granit Xhaka's not there, because Granit Xhaka seems to be the one who comes from midfield to get into that box when Jesus does drop deep. I mean, Vieira just wasn't doing that. Partey wasn't doing that tonight, and yeah, it was leaving us, one short up front. When the ball went up there, and it wasn't no shot tonight. The amount of shots we had during the game was pretty awful by Arsenal standards. But he looks frustrated to me tonight. He was trying things, trying to get in the end. Nothing was coming off, so he's trying to get penalties. He kept going over. There was never penalties. He did try. There was a lot of effort there, but not great tonight from Jesus. So we could give him a 5.
Yeah, Jesus was frustrating for me. He wasn't in the box enough. He had 2 opportunities towards the end where all we needed was a little bit of composure, get the ball out of his feet, drill it, or even first time in the box, drill it. He's not in the box enough. He's far too deep. Yeah. He needs to adapt to be a number 9. That's his first season at Arsenal as a number 9. So I'm of course going to give him time. He's outstanding at the start of the season. He has enough chances on goal for him to be hitting 15 to 20 Premier League goals a season. He has that in him. But he needs composure. He needs to sort out his composure. Whatever we do, if we bring in another striking coach, someone needs to have a word with him and his composure in the box. Because his footwork's outstanding, his dribbling's brilliant, he's got tricks for days, he's creative, his vision. He's an excellent player. His work rate's outstanding.
Yeah.
He needs to be more composed. What did you give him?
5 tonight.
5 for Gabriel.
But it was though, like he wouldn't have been so bad if we had players getting in the box when he dropped deep. Look at Declan Rice last night. Just go and sign him, for God's sake, please, Arsenal. Just sign that man. Yeah. When I've seen him twice, I've watched him three 90-minute games in the last couple of weeks. It's fucking geezer's outstanding.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just go and get him now. 24 years old. Pay whatever it takes. Get him in.
One of the early substitutes, Leandro Trossard.
Yeah, I'd just give him, again, a lot of effort, but really didn't do much. Not much time. 5.
No, it didn't really make a difference in coming on really for me. I thought he's a bit of a weird one, but I think it's more so the fact that when did he come on 2-1, 3-1? At that point there was nothing happening with Vieira in the middle. Yeah, he probably wanted a bit more pace as opposed to bringing on Jorginho. But for me, it didn't really work. He wasn't bad. I'm probably being a bit harsh on Trossard himself, but for me, it was more the substitute itself.
Yeah.
I don't
It
think
wasn't
it
a
was the
great
right
time to come on,
substitute.
was it?
No, I don't. I think Trossard's played his best when he's been on the wing. He draws players out because he's not your typical winger. When he's playing in a central midfield role, where I don't think he really knows where he's gonna be, deep or up, or it just he was better than Vieira, but then that weren't hard.
No.
Reece Nelson.
Yeah, he done all right. Probably a little bit better if you're giving him like a sub mark, probably a 6.
Yeah,
he looks a bit more threatening than Trossard when he come on. So yeah, give him 6.
Yeah, I thought Reece was was good when he come on. Eddie.
5, yeah. I didn't even. Apart from he blocked the shot, didn't he, from that winning the goal? So that might have ended up winning the game.
Oh, was that? I thought it was Party. I don't know. I want to say it was Party because he was so crap today that Saka shot and Party blocked it. That's probably the only decent block he did do.
Yeah.
Mikel Arteta.
I think he got the team wrong tonight. I don't think Vieira obviously didn't work, did it?
Didn't work.
And I think it was like it was like playing for what was it, 65 minutes, 70 minutes with 10 men with him in the team. It was that, I don't like to be asked.
And he kept him on for so long.
He did. He kept him on for so long. And for someone who just did not do anything in the game from minute 1. And did not like doing it. Didn't look like doing anything in the game from the first 10, 15 minutes. You would have thought, made the substitution at least at half time. So yeah, not great from Arteta today. Substitutes were a bit iffy and all. They didn't look, they was a little bit, unusual, if you like. So yeah, for me, 5 tonight. I mean, we still seem like we lost because we got an actual point, but
but
three games we haven't got beat. We're still unbeaten in the last 3 games, but they feel like 3 defeats. So.
I mean, there's a song out there, Steve, and you know it. Always look on the bright side of life. But if there was ever a Monty Python performance, it was today, and the head of that was Mikel Arteta. I'm not one to criticise Mikel Arteta at all very often. He's been our saviour in the last few years. But tonight and in the last 3 games, again, I'm not too critical with the Liverpool game. It's Anfield, so I should be more, but I find it hard. But you've got to get your team up for these big games. And I'm not talking about just the Southamptons today. I'm not talking about the West Ham. I'm talking about the Sporting Lisbon games, the Olympiacos game the other season, where we went out in the quarterfinals or semi-finals, the Villarreal game the other season where we went out in the quarterfinals, the Southampton last season, the Newcastle last season, the big games. You've got to start getting your teams up for these big games. It's all well and good when the pressure's not on, but when the pressure's on, mate, we've got to start getting them up for it. Now, whether that's your experienced players in Jesus or Zinchenko helping out, whatever you've got to do, mate, this team needs to adapt again. They need to take this on board, use it, and move forward. But you've got to start getting them up for these last games. There's no room for error. We have to win every game to the end of the season to win this league now. Now, will you say it's over or whatever? I won't say it's over until it's over. Until it's mathematically over, it's not over. But we have to win every game. There's no 2 ways about it. We've got to go to Etihad next. We've got to win that. And if we don't win that, the league's Man City's. That's it. Done.
Yeah.
What'd you give Mikel Arteta?
5.
5. I mean, Jorginho, did he even come on?
Yeah.
Any final thoughts, Steve?
No, like you say, it's not over. It is what it is now. We know what we've got to do. We've got to go to Manchester City, and we've got to win. Well, we put it this way: we can't lose it. I still think Man City will drop points somewhere along the line.
So do I.
I don't think their game. I keep hearing this. There's no pressure in it. All of a sudden, it's great to have loads of games. When any other year, it's the pressure because you're playing too many games. But because Man City, have got loads of games, for some reason, it's great to have a break from the Premier League and go and play in the Champions League and the FA Cup. If this was Arsenal, they'd be saying, "Oh, they've got to play in the Champions League. They've got to play in the FA Cup." So I'm not having that. I feel they'll drop points. We got to do what we got to do, but we need to get seriously better.
Yeah.
And going by tonight, there are sort of, you do look at our squad and you do feel there's still a lot of work to be done. But we have always said that. We've always said that. We need people in the training. We've said to people how important the summer's winter's going to be. We know we still need, extra players in that midfield. We know we need a right-sided player to help Saka out. We know this. It's okay putting Trossard out there, but he's not a stereotypical replacement for Saka. You need someone of a Neto, other than Elise, of someone of that ilk. Do you know what I mean? To come in. Just like Man City have, they got Foden, they got Grealish, they got Mahrez on the other side. They can just swap and change like anything. We're not there yet, but yeah, final thoughts, awful tonight, terrible. But look, it's not over. We're 5 points clear. We still would have taken this if someone would have given us at the beginning of the season. They have to wipe themselves down, and we have to go and at least not lose at City. Not lose. We're still in that situation where I think as I said, that like before, they'll drop points. But the way we're playing at the moment, we look like we're going to leak points left, right, and centre. We need Saliba back. We need Xhaka back in, and go again. But it's not over. And this hopefully it'd just be like Arsenal to go and beat City. You just see it happening. But yeah. They need the confidence. Arteta's got a lot of work to do by Wednesday.
Yeah, big game coming up. It is frustrating. I can't lie. It's a kick in the gut. Arsenal dropping points to another team in a relegation zone. Martin Keown called it. He said it's going to be tough games against West Ham, Southampton. They're fighting for relegation. People scoff. People laugh. These are the harder games. These are the harder games. You can be playing mid-table teams.
I've been there.
But
I've been there in the invincible year when we went unbeaten.
Leicester.
Yeah, Wimbledon, Derby. I remember these games when you was like, they came to Highbury. We had these players who now Arsenal legends, and we drew against these teams that were struggling, and you thought we'd blown it. You really thought we'd blown it, and then, like you said earlier, at the beginning of the show. You had the Overmars moment. You had the Sylvain Viltor moment. Yeah. That's what we need now. We need that moment. Yeah. On Wednesday.
It's got to be big. It's got to be big. But anything worth having does not come easy. All right. So, Man City. If ever was a time where that statement stuck, it's against Manchester City. Arsenal have to win. If they do not win, it's done. People have written us off before this game. So sod them. Who cares? But for us, for our mentality, we need 3 points against Man City. Thank you everyone who joined us tonight. Thank you for joining us tonight, Steve.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Make sure you hit that like and subscribe if you are new to the show. If you are a regular, press that like, press that share button, and press that copy button. Make sure everyone knows that you're enjoying the show. Hit the comment section. Let us know what your thoughts are on the game. Is it over? Is the fat lady singing? Who knows? All right. This was our chance to get Champions League solidified. If we would have won, So we've
One
still
more
got to
point.
get two more points or one more point to do that. One more point to do that. But yeah, for me, I'm not going to call the season a failure, but it will massively depend how we finish the league. It will massively, because it will be a massive sour note to go out on a whimper.
It's natural to be like this, isn't it?
Yeah, to have
it's natural.
Yeah, to have that the 15-point gap against Man United. There's a massive gap. Don't make that shorter. Had that as a something towards at the end of the season, so we can bury them with that because they want us flash the Carabao Cup in our face. Like, extend that lead. Do you know what I mean? Let's do it to the end of the season.
The Mickey Mouse Cup. The Mickey Mouse Cup.
Make yourselves proud. Don't let yourselves down at this point here, because you need this going forward. Because next season, the expectation is that we're going to go and try and win the league. It's not, can we get top 4? It's we've got to. We want to go and win the league. We want to another title challenge. We want to have these conversations in April, and not can we get top 4? This is what we ask for as fans. This competition towards the end of the season. So let all them mugs out there talk about it's a failure, because every season this is what you want. These other teams ain't got nothing to play for. Man United were talking about quadruples. Then they were talking about trebles. Now they're talking about a domestic cup double.
Ooh.
And it's still got to play. Who's in that competition? Man City's still in that, isn't they?
Brighton. Don't forget, Joe Brighton are favourites to beat them, didn't you?
So the great quadruple team that were banging on about we could win if Arsenal lose here and we win here and the moon stars align, we could be in a title challenge. Well, that lasted about 5 minutes, didn't it? Like a wafty fart. It was rubbish.
Especially like the other night, wasn't it? I mean,
and then there you go.
They was going to win the Europa League.
Talk about treble. So let's not let them.
To be
have
fair,
pleasure.
if they had Casemiro Wednesday night, hold on a minute.
If they had Wayne Rooney, like, get in the bin. If they had Robin van Persie, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear from Man United fans. Absolutely crazy. I want to hear from Man United fans. I don't want to hear from Tottenham fans. Look at the state of your club. Embarrassing that you should be walking around with shame, not looking at us, waiting to banter us. Chelsea fans are probably the ones that's been most respectable, and they're sitting in the bottom half of the table.
Yeah,
Liverpool fans giving it a big one as well because of your embarrassing season. You can't even go out and get Jude Bellingham to fix your midfield next season either.
Do not miss Monday night. Do not miss Monday night.
Joke. Make sure you join us on Monday night for the Super 6 podcast on KS1 TV. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Thank you everyone for joining us. Look, it is what it is. We're Arsenal fans. We're fans. We stand by our team. Bring us the pelters. Bring us the pelters. Bring on the pelters, people. I'm ready for it. I will be the human shield for my team. All right. Thank you for joining us, people. Peace out. Stay safe and wash your hands.